I saw a fan. In a store the other day, and the first thing when I laughed, he said, "Give the boy a pay raise." I mean, come on, Marcel.
Oh, Marcel, yes.
Matter of fact, it was hilarious. I'm in a store with Marcel.
Man, how did that happen?
Well, I don't know, but I was doing what I normally do. I was buying something to go fishing with. But anyway.
Well, Marcel's been posting pics on Facebook. He went fishing, too.
Yeah, I saw him. He was going last weekend. I saw him Friday. Well, another guy said, "Hey, are you moving Griffon?" And I said, "Yes, sir." I met to talk to him a second. Yeah. And I was looking for something I couldn't find. I had this older gentleman. I say older. He was older than me. Mm-hmm. And he says, "This what you're looking for?" I said, "That's it."
Yeah. And
he whispers, "I'm a fan of your program, too." I thought, we got 3 people, and all of them listen to the program. All my audience was on one row. Yeah, and they all like to fish. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I like how I had to whisper it, though.
Well, and Marcel, of course, being the Marcel, the Como fan that he is, y'all don't tell him that. He's going to get the big head. I thought, golly. All right. This is CNBC reporting. Trump urges Attorney General Sessions to stop the Mueller probe right now. On Wednesday, called Attorney General Jeff Sessions to end it. Right now, escalating the attacks on the inquiry. The Attorney General Jeff Sessions stop this rigged witch hunt right now, the president wrote on a post on Twitter. Bob Mueller is totally conflicted, and the 17 angry Democrats that are doing this dirty work are a disgrace to the USA. The president's attacks on the special counsel has escalated in recent weeks. Brandon, the thing about it is the people that like Trump, I love it, because nobody else is doing this, and Sessions not doing it. And he could be the one to step down. All Sessions has to do is step down. The problem with him stepping down is this, Brandon. He's got to appoint another attorney general who has to go through the process before he becomes a sitting attorney general. You see what I'm saying? Uh-huh. And so you can go without an attorney general or somebody would sit in for the position, but you couldn't. You'd have to go through the process to get another one confirmed. He tweeted out that all because Sessions didn't tell me he was going to recuse himself. And Trump's right. There's nothing there. I mean, there's absolutely nothing there. The case that's going on right now with Manafort, that's nothing to do with Trump. It has everything to do with Manafort. And that's what happens when you give a very partisan Bob Mueller and his Hillary Clinton team, when you put them out there and you let them go do anything they want to do, of course they're going to come back with something. They're going in other countries and investigating. They can get bank account. They're going every kind of way. Well, that's a good thing. Well, then why didn't we do this with the Clintons? Why did we do all these investigations and we have somebody that hated the Clintons and got lawyers that hated the Clintons and let them go to work? Why we didn't do that on Obama? Why we didn't do that with Obama and let Obama, let's go back in his life and the people that he associated with. Because when Obama associated with pure trash that hated this country, including Louis Farrakhan, pictures all over with Obama and Louis Farrakhan. And all the people that helped him get to where he was at, these were people that blew up things and were terrorists in our own country, but they never made a big deal about that. Let's go find people that hate Obama and put them up as lawyers and get 17 lawyers that hate him and let them go in any way they want to look at in Obama's life. They can go back and look when Barry was smoking dope. They can go back and look at Barry when he was in that Pastor Wright. They can go look at his relationship with Louis Farrakhan. That religion has been deemed a hate group. Let's just go find out what everybody in the swamp's all about. They're not doing that. Trump's not part of them, and that's the big deal. That's the big deal, folks. Just think if we could do that. We could just go back. We can investigate Rob Mueller. See everything he's done. Check every bank account he's ever been associated with. Let's do that with Obama. Let's do that with Bill. Let's do that with Hillary. Let's do that with Nancy Pelosi. Let's do that with, why they didn't ever do that with Harry Reid, who was making land deals, making millions of dollars. Let's go find every bank account and everybody he was. See what I'm saying? The left doesn't understand that because they're ignorant. They're crazy. They're mentally insane. You can go get anybody. Trump's been around. They got people all around him and people all in the swamp up there for anybody and everybody. But go check out dirty Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, the Clintons. Go check out Eric Holder. Let's do a full investigation. Grab anything you want to do. Come up with it. Give the prosecutor and 17 lawyers, they can go anywhere they want to go, anytime they want to go, and go after anybody they want to get after. And don't you think they're going to find something? Absolutely. We would be astonished if they did that with the Clintons. You would have to have an attorney general put somebody. They would have to have 250 lawyers to go with all their corruption and collusion. Let them go find out. They didn't touch the great Obama because he was black. They let him do what they want to do. Let them go find out. Let them. But we don't see this, do we, folks? No, we never see this. To give somebody an open-end deal. This is all about Bill Clinton when Ken Starr started on Whitewater and ended up with a stained dress. By the way, somebody asked me about the impeaching process. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. They want to know how it worked. The House impeaches. Bill Clinton was impeached. But then you have a trial. He was not convicted. You got to have 67 votes in the Senate. The House impeaches. The Senate does the trial. You got to have 67 votes. Okay? Now, if I would use, who was that the other day? Was Mark Ballard wrote the story and said, when the majority doesn't rule, well, Brandon, guess what? Bill Clinton had 50-something votes against him. That would have been a majority. He should have been outright. No, it takes 67 votes. So it's not happening no matter what happens. And so when I see this, just think about what I'm saying, especially you people on the left. They would have took somebody that hated Obama and put him as the top prosecutor. Okay, then that person could have hired people that gave money to the Republican Party, gave money to conservatives, and that got picked up all these lawyers, and the press would be writing how bad these people were. But let's say the press couldn't do that. Let's say they were helping it along. And think about what the press has done in this. The press is trying to try Trump, okay, on MSNBC and CNBC and NBC and ABC and CBS and CNN. They're trying to try him because they want public opinion to smash him. By the way, his numbers are up now, 48 and growing. Just think, Obama had nobody in the press. Talk radio and Fox challenged him. But nobody in the mainstream media ever challenged one thing he said. They never went back and look where he came from. I'm not talking about was he an American citizen, because I don't know. But what if they would have went after everything he's done in the past, people that were associated with him? Right, you realize one of the things they charge in Manafort, they're going back to 2005. Let's go take the great Obama and let's do the same type investigation. And they have unlimited money and then go after anybody they want to go after. And let's see what would happen. And if they did that with the Clintons, 17 lawyers, they would have to have 270, maybe 2,700 to go find out all the crap they've been in. And we let them go. And this, by the way, this Mueller thing, and this Supreme Court justice thing is all about midterm elections, which reminds me, how can we say we threw the Democrats out? Okay? We had bad luck in Alabama on a guy that was a liberal Democrat, and they put the wrong person up. So now the vote's so close. How can anybody turn around and give Nancy Pelosi the gavel? Give Nancy Pelosi or these socialists the gavel to run our country into what? You know, it's just an amazing thing. But I'm telling you, if Donald Trump was not fighting for the country and for Donald Trump, who would be? You know, this is a rigged witch hunt. He called it what it is. Fake news. He called it what most of that stuff is. But a lot of people buy into it. It's just simply that. It's just an amazing thing to sit here and watch this every day. And I had enough. Thank God I don't watch it every day, because I've had enough of just watching this every day. Trump goes do a speech and they pack the thing out. And if the people don't leave Trump and the Republicans will hold a House. I think they'll gain 3 or 4 seats in the Senate. I think they hold the House. They can lose a few, but I think they're going to hold. If they hold a House, all this is going away, folks. There's going to be no impeachment no matter what Mueller tries to do. I heard it the other day, really what the Democrats are fighting is really 2020. They're really giving up on 2018. I know you don't look like it, and the only reason they're making a bet that they're going to win the House back is because Republicans have more open seats to run for, and they think they're going to go gobble them up. But you go listen to those people talking in those open seats where Republicans were winning. You go follow them. You go watch them. Okay, that's the ones you want to watch. But they're not talking like the socialist Democrats are. They talk more like Republicans. We got a governor here that talk more like a conservative, and he's not even close, and we see that now. So I wish Sessions would resign, but the problem is if he resigns, how long will it take to get another attorney general? That's going to be the question. Anyway, 844-766-6607, Hickson Exit Hotline. Take a break. Be right back. I got a lot of stuff to cover today. And Billy Nungesser. Billy, just a question. Are you going to run with Edwards? We just need... like I can label her real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, y'all all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson Exit Hotline. It's funny. They had a little deal as I was going over this story about Trump urges Attorney General to drop all this stuff. Which, by the way, he's right. So it's a CNBC report. And so a little ticker thing, breaking news comes across that manufacturing is down, and you just heard all the good economy stuff, and they are trying to find something to write negative about the economy. But they have written nothing good about the economy. CNBC, NBC, all those news organizations don't write anything. I mean, they put a little blip, and then it's gone. And they go back to Russian. Well, they don't really talk about Russian collusion because it never happened. But it's amazing they put all that stuff. I asked Brandon, I said, Brandon, let me ask you a question. If the economy was to turn south with Trump in, do you think they would write about that?
Oh, yeah.
They would write about that sucker left and right, blame the tax cuts. That's what socialists do. You see, there's a big argument in the Democrat Party. They want to go socialist. But some of them say, shh, don't say nothing. Well, they want to do what the press is telling us. The press basically is as close to socialistic, believe in socialism as much as anybody, because they really think taking money and giving it to somebody else is a good thing. They really believe all this stuff. They hate God. They hate Jesus. They hate any kind of faith. They hate it. And so they're already showing you their hand in the press. They'll beat you up if you make a statement. It's, like me, I believe there's one marriage, a man and a woman. I believe that's what God, there's nothing wrong with me believing that. You want to believe a different way, but I'll get beat up for that. I don't think a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man in their minds overnight, and that's it. I don't. I never will, ever. But to them, that's hate speech, but it's not. I have a right to believe that. I didn't say they can't believe the way they believe. I don't think it's right to kill babies. I think it's wrong to just kill a baby because you're pregnant. They don't. They think, man, kill a baby. I mean, that's sick. That's a spiritual sickness that our country has developed now, and it's developing more and more through the media. And I say media, I'm talking about the national media for the most part. I mean, it's just say things, and they don't have a compass. They don't understand how somebody cannot believe in killing babies okay. I don't think it's okay. And I call it what it is, killing a baby, because that's what it is. And they don't want that. How could you dare say something like that, They don't show pictures of Barack Obama with Louis Farrakhan. But since he left, they show all kind of pictures of Barack Obama with the great and hateful Louis Farrakhan. It's just amazing to watch this. So, yes, if something happens with the economy in a negative way, I look for every news organization to jump on it and have every expert to say the tax cuts caused the problem, when the tax cuts didn't cause the problem. It caused an unbelievable return. It's a phenomenal thing to watch. It's just, I'd sit back and go, wow, look at this stuff. Look at what's going on. Anyway, the goal of the press now is to make sure they're hoping Mueller doesn't drop any bombshells until right before the election, hoping they can win back power so we can get to this socialistic utopia, which is, by the way, devastated every country. It's been tried. Every country. Venezuela. Y'all ought to, if y'all would read, Venezuela was called a socialist utopia. It really was. I used to remember years ago, people used to talk about how great Venezuela was. And right now, Venezuelan city where nothing works anymore, the president admitting that they made mistakes. Why? What do you mean you made mistakes? Socialism is a mistake. Socialism takes your freedom away. Socialism penalizes the people who produce. Who in the hell would ever go that way? That's what the Democrats in the mainstream media want you to go, to a socialistic state where you're controlled, where you're not educated. And everything, basically, the government will sooner or later confiscate. You know? Blackouts are daily. Running water comes only once a month. Cash machines are empty and waiting for a bus can take hours. Welcome to Venezuela. This is a utopia. But see, the left thinks they can do it here because they have no money over there. Once you start doing it here, we will have no money here. Because the payroll and the businesses will all start to cater. Private payrolls boom in July, increasing by 219,000 versus the 185,000 estimate that just broke. July gains were the best since February when 241,000 jobs were added. The job market is booming. Would you rather be in Venezuela or the United States of America? And these little socialists are going around in the Democrat Party and bragging this is the way to do it. You lose your country. You lose your pride. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Hickson has it hotline, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. A lot to cover today. Sales tax holiday scrap. Get to that. Billy Nungesser. Two things with Billy I want to get to. And it's nothing hard. I just want to ask some questions I think they need to be asked. Also, just another thing, the economy. Jobs in the U.S. increased 219,000 in July. Best gain since February, which was 241. Job market's booming, impacted by the deficit finance, tax cuts, and increase in government spending. Tariffs have yet to materially impact jobs. So we'll see what that happens. I still think we'll win the trade war with Trump, which was never even tried by the great Barack Obama. And it says medium-sized businesses, Brandon, which employ 50 to 499 people, added the most payroll in July as they created 119,000. See, check out Venezuela. That's socialism. That's what the Democrat Party's for now. That's what the press is for. Venezuela, no jobs. They just, listen, you realize that Venezuela was one of the top 10 oil producers in the world? Now they're not. Why? Socialism. It takes over. They own it. They don't know how to run it. They run it into the ground. They take all the profits out of it. They have run everything totally into the ground. I know people that used to, in the oil and gas industry, they used to work with Venezuela all the time, and then they started getting these socialist, populist type presidents where they took everything over. That's totally opposite of what Trump's doing. Trump's trying to give money back to people, money back to companies. And what does the left and the Democrats do? They just want to take care of the rich. I have never been hired by one poor person yet. How about y'all? Brandon, I guess you're thinking working for a bunch of poor people. Huh? It didn't work that way. You work for a publicly traded company now. Mm-hmm. You work for a lot of people. But what I'm saying is there are companies, they got a president, CEO, and it goes down to levels, and it gets all the way down to us workers on the floor that are trying to make a good living. And if you go with this, like example, when Bernie Sanders said we want Medicare for everyone, $32 trillion over 10 years, and they won't talk about how they're going to pay for it. The same thing Venezuela did, Spain, all of these countries. They don't know how they're going to pay for something, and they go for it, and it's not the way to do it, and it's why our country stays above. Barack Obama came along and almost earned 100% of that. And you got the media trying to destroy the president to get us back on course. and who we are. Not who they want us to be, but who we really are. And that's a free country. Go and be the best you can be. If you don't want to be the best you can be, and you want somebody to take care of you, you shouldn't even want to live in the United States of America. The safety nets and the giveaways and the freebies have got to go. No, we're thinking of new ways to give away stuff. We're giving away new things. Give an example. I know y'all been watching this stuff that's on there, and this is for the new way of giving people basic income. Okay? Giving people checks. They're starting to try to do this in the United States right now. It's not going to work. It never works. It will never work anywhere. It's not going to work. And if somebody wants to call and says it works in this country, you just nutting up because it's not going to work. Matter of fact, in Ontario, PC plan to scrap Ontario basic income pilot project called Shameful. The project coming to an end, said Children, Community, and Social Services Minister. They said, this is too expensive. It is, Brandon, too expensive, and clearly not the answer for the families. The answer for the families is to get a good education and get a good work habit and go to work like you're supposed to in the United States of America. We got people sucking on every government, you know what, every time they get a chance. This hadn't worked. This universal income or with a basic income hadn't worked. Matter of fact, there was another place. I don't know if it was in Finland. They dropping it totally because they can't afford to pay for it. Where do you get the money from? You got to go get it from people. Government produces nothing. They produce nothing, and people won't understand that. 4,000 people were enrolled in basic income pilot program. Started in 2017. It was originally set to last 3 years and explore the effectiveness of providing a basic income. Listen, this is the part I like, Brad, whether they were working or not. And this is what we're setting up in the United States of America. This is what the left is trying to do. And they're going to the churches. Maxine Waters, a nut from Nutsville, telling people that she was put here by God to stop Trump. I want to know what God she's talking about. Can't be the same one I worship. There's no way. They didn't even make 3 years. They didn't even make over a year. You're going to give me money for work? Brandon, let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Say we can make, let's take $50,000. Okay. I made $50,000 busting my, let me flip it. You made $50,000 busting your errand. And I know you're working. I know your work habit. Mm-hmm. And I made the same $50,000 and I was fishing and sleeping late. Does that piss you off?
Well, yeah.
And we got paid from the same company, the same amount of money.
If we got paid from the same company, that's different. Yeah.
Well, this is the same thing.
Yeah,
You're going to get income whether you work or not.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. If you don't work, you ought to not have any income.
Right.
Well, that's kind of ugly. No, it's not. It's honest. You create people who only know how to live on the dough. We've creating that in Louisiana and the United States of America. I told y'all before, how many years have I been telling people? We have made it easy to be poor in Louisiana. One of the ways we did was expand Medicaid. We making it easy to be poor. Give away free cell phones under the Obama regime. Under the project, a single person could have received up to about $17,000 a year, minus half of the income he or she earned. A couple could have received up to $24,000 per year. People with disabilities would receive an additional $6,000. Man, everybody's signing up for this. Here's the problem. They're shutting it down already. Why? They're shutting it down because you don't have the money to just give people money. Every man ought to want to work. Everyone. Just to provide for their family or provide for themselves. So, listen to this too, Brandon. People are upset about it. They're upset about it because they're losing something they were getting, Brandon, you ready? For free. And the callous, mean-spirited premier sees this as a priority, making poverty worse, making life worse for families, absolutely disgraceful and shameful. This is what they're saying because they're stopping a program of, here's a check, $17,000, $24,000 in a family. They're upset because they're stopping a program they don't have money to pay for. One person said, I'm in shock. I had a 3-year plan. Now it's gone. How you like that, Brad? 3-year plan to spend money you didn't earn. Calling the government highly irresponsible for not giving them money. It's a waste. It's a crying shame. It's just distraught. And I know people who are going to be affected by this is beside themselves, folks. They better get out of programs like this or they're going to be Venezuela, and they know it. We can be Venezuela as well. This is crazy. All right, one quick call. All right. Paul in Lafayette. Paul, how you doing?
Hi, Moon. How are you?
I'm doing good. I always do good.
I was glad to hear you on the radio, Moon. Moon, we're going to have to do something about these double dippers, these people that they get a pension from working so many years in government or something. They go out and they take another job from the private sector. They always got their handouts.
Well, hold up now. If they got a pension, that's one thing. But if they're out there working and getting another salary, I can't. It's hard for me to have a problem with that.
Yeah, but they're taking a job away from a young person who had one because they have connections.
Yeah, but well, and look, I know. And by the way, if it's in the government side, no argument here. But on the private sector, somebody has a right to hire who they want to, and I don't have a problem with that. And besides, the pensions that we set up for people, and I'm just being honest with you, we set them up, and it's only fair that we give them what quote we were supposed to give them. So, look, I understand for young people, but I'll be honest with you, you really want a job in this economy, in this country, and even in our state, you can go find one. We got to go. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Yes, folks, that's what the Democrats and the socialists and the media want. Basic income. Where does it come from? They don't care. $32 trillion for Medicare for everybody. $32 trillion over 10 years. Where does that come from? They don't care. We'll be right back. How you all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. You know, Brandon, it's midway through the week, and you may be thinking, man, I've been cooking every day. And just ease out and let Shucks do the cooking for you today. I'm telling you what, everybody knows about Shucks. I've been bragging about Shucks for so long. I love talking about Shucks. I love going to Shucks even more. But, you know, I know you go get food and you think, man, fried oysters, fried this, fried that. Well, Shucks are a little different now. They'll grill and saute anything. Matter of fact, almost everything on their menu, Brandon, they have a seafood platter, all grilled, sauteed, baked. So somebody's saying, well, I just don't want all the heavy stuff. You don't have to eat heavy at Shucks. Because one of the favorite things I like to do is go in and see, there's always 4 or 5 specials at Shucks.
Yeah.
Like when they have the redfish on the shell, Brandon, it's hard for me to pass up.
I know,
it's light. You can just take it right off of the deal. They do a drum that's really good like that. The shrimp are that big. I did the super seafood salad. You know, shrimp, oysters, crawfish. And they char grilled them or chilled or baked them or whatever they did with them. One time I went and said, I'm going to eat the fried one. Can't be much more than that one. Fried.
Yeah.
Brandon, you got to get twice the size of the bowl. When they start frying all that stuff and it starts getting out,
yeah.
It looked like so much seafood you couldn't even eat it all.
Yeah.
And this is a salad we're talking about.
Next time I go, I'm going to have to do the seafood platter. Because normally when I go to a seafood restaurant, I'll get the seafood platter. But when I go to Shucks, man, they've got so many of the coolest specialty items, like you were just talking about, that I make my way through those. I've got to stop up on the seafood platter though.
No doubt. And by the way, that's a lot of food. I saw one come out the other day, and I thought, holy cow, you're getting way more than you're paying for. That's Shucks. Shucks is located in Abbeville. Great seafood, great Cajun food, and they're always cooking with the freshest of seafoods. And you can watch them shuck the oysters right there. Don't ever believe people that say you can only eat oysters with oil. Somebody told me that the other day. I fell out laughing. They said, where you going? I said, I'm going to eat some oysters. You made me hungry. Well, I thought you were supposed to eat them. You eat them year-round at Shucks, and they are delicious. All right, folks, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. In our great state government, they've gotten rid of when they passed all those taxes, they got rid of the sales tax as school shopping begins. It was to help people for a weekend. It was a back-to-school sales sales tax holiday. Usually would have been Friday and Saturday, and they got rid of it. And the state got rid of that to save $5 million. They didn't want to give us $5 million back of the $6.3 billion in new tax increases. I want you to think about that. They couldn't give us back $5 million on sales taxes. And they increased taxes from the time Bel Edwards came in office to now, add 7 more years, $6.3 billion in new taxes. And every Republican that, I'm not talking about the people that voted for it, but every Republican or somebody that wants to go run against some of these Republicans who continue to destroy us to help the Democrats and help Bel Edwards, Jay Dorton-type Republicans, Julie Stokes, Nancy Pelosi-type Republicans, they ought to be beat. And you got to put some people up there that can raise money. And all they got to do is talk about what they want to do and bring up the voting record. You run in Lake Charles against Representative Mark Motax's Abraham. It's there. Go look at the voting record. Julie Stokes has an up and down voting record, but she was a floor leader for John Bel Edwards. She slammed Republicans left and right every chance she could. Go look at it. It's there. $6.3 billion in new taxes. And they voted, the legislature voted, and it's some Republicans, people I know, they voted to get rid of a simple sales tax that would have saved you some money while you were buying school clothes. $5.2 million for the whole state. But they took $6.83 billion in taxes. And I'm just pointing it out. The $5.2 million, you just can't afford that. Now all of a sudden, you're reading stories, they're talking teachers' pay raises. They're going to bring that up in an election year. Now they're talking about buying things again. Okay? So we're totally broke to, hey, we got plenty of money. Because they took it from you and me. And it was not a temporary sales tax. That's a permanent tax. You think they did, I want you to think about it. If you have any common sense, listen. The first big tax they passed was supposed to be for 27 months. And they couldn't live without it. They couldn't live without that money. You think they're going to be able to live without a tax they had on the books for 7 years? The 7 years was a joke. Total joke. Republicans that voted for it, that was a joke. Total joke. But yet they voted for it. So anyway, it is what it is. But they couldn't get back $5 million to the people for school supplies. And I say give it back. You wouldn't have gave it back and just kept it in your pocket. Oh, we can't do that, Mr. Griffon. We got another $1 billion deficit coming in 2 years for the new governor that will come in. He's gone. He's gone. All right, let's go, Jeff Lafayette. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, Moon. How about yourself?
Doing fine, sir.
When you're talking about this the tax holiday that they decided that we didn't need anymore,
yep.
I've already printed out the list saved on my computer of everybody that voted for this mess. And when the election comes back up, I'm going to help vote Taylor Barra's rear end out of office.
Taylor voted for it. He did vote for it.
Yes, he did.
He did vote
This
for
is the first name on the list. This is Mr. Speaker.
He's the speaker. He's the first one that votes. So, no, they vote, and normally they vote alphabetical order. And I was disappointed Taylor voted for it, too, because once Taylor voted for it, it opened up the door for other Republicans to say, I can vote for it now. So I understand that. I think Taylor did a lot of good things. I didn't like the vote. I didn't like it at all. And I think these guys knew the sales tax holidays were gone, which was really just a little bit of people keeping some of their money. That's all. $5 million over the whole state, and they got that tax vote was $3.5 billion. The other tax votes were $2.8 billion. That's $6.3 billion in new taxes, and you can find a lot of people that voted for those taxes. And they ought to be beat because of the tax vote.
Exactly. And if they tell me that they didn't know that was in there, I'm going to call them Nancy Pelosi for not reading the bill. It's not a deal
let me tell you something.
We got to pass it before we can find out what's in it.
Yeah, well, I think you're right on the money. We passed it. We found out what's in it. And then we had a couple university systems increase. We were told higher education was totally funded. We were told that by the governor. Yet they were allowed to increase fees and maybe tuition, but I know fees of about $600 on the students for the year. I mean, it just doesn't stop because there's no such thing as enough for those people. And our economy's running about half of what government's growing. It doesn't work out. It doesn't matter. And listen, next time when they come up with taxes in the next year or two, they're going to say, well, we got to do some tax reform. We got to have a constitutional convention. None of that stuff will ever change the outright overspending we doing while we're losing population. Nothing changes common sense and fundamental ways of doing things. And it's a shame.
Common sense is not so common anymore.
No. How about just any sense? Some sense. Gee whiz, forget common, just a little bit of sense. Anyway, got to run. I think you make a good point. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a holler. Look, I was disappointed that Taylor voted for that. Taylor did a lot of good things, too. I got to weigh all that stuff, but I was disappointed in that vote because I felt like if he hadn't voted for it, they had fought so hard, and basically the governor got basically what he wanted. Let's go to Lee in Alexandria. Lee, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, Moon. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Good to be alive.
Well, good. Look, I brought this up at 970 down here in Alexandria the other day, and and talking about my disgust, and especially in the other one, is promoted in the hunting industry, and which they've done away with that too.
Yep.
And immediately after I hung up the phone, our left-wing representative down there, I can't even think of his name now, opposite of Lance Harris.
Is he a senator? It wasn't Jay Lunatic, was it?
Yeah, it was Jay Lunatic.
That's him, Lunatic.
Jay Luna.
Yeah, well, I call him Lunatic.
He immediately called and said he'd gotten so many calls from the people that sell ATVs that it was just so much trouble for them anyway because they didn't sell anymore during that tax holiday anyway. It just caused them to hire more people and staff up for that weekend. And I'm like, that's the ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. I guarantee you we call Mr. Simmons up there, and I guarantee you he won't back Lunatic on what he said.
Well, I'm telling you, that sounds like a Robert Adley comment. Robert Adley, quote, Republican, with Bill Edwards said that they had a big corporation wanted to move here. We just get our budget straight. But he wouldn't give us the name of the company. Well, according to them, we got 7 years of no problems in the budget. When is that company moving here? And guess what? Oh, yeah. Robert Adley's not going to tell you the name of a company that he pulled out of thin air. Robert Adley just lied on radio.
Up a lie
they just lie.
You can make up a lie to cover any daggum thing. They're professionals at that.
Oh, they good.
But his final comment was, well, if the Republicans wouldn't waited and pushed this to the last minute, maybe we could have went in there and done something about that.
Oh,
so,
well,
pushing the blame.
You can blame it on everything, but I bet out of the $6.3 billion in new taxes, I bet Jay Senator Lunatic, I guarantee you voted for every one of them. And here's the sad part. Here's the sad part. If they ever get rid of the 2/3 vote, that $6 billion would have been $8 billion or $10 billion. They wouldn't have cared. They really think they're making things better. And you know what's sad? They're not fixing one thing. Not one thing's being fixed in the state. No, I got to go. Appreciate the call. Lewis and Bro Bridge, you're up next. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Don't go anywhere, folks. When we get back, some calls, but we will ask Billy Nungesser, what are you doing? We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice. All right, let's go. Let's go to Lewis in Bro Bridge. Lewis, how you doing?
How you doing there, Moon?
Doing fine, sir.
Got a question. The senator and congressman in San Morin Parish, did they support that tax or voted against it? Or?
Well, give me the. I'd have to look it up. Give me the two names.
Mike Eval and Fred Mills.
Mills voted for it. I know that for a fact. I do not know about Huval just off the top of my head. But I know Fred Mills voted. The Republicans, by and large, and I would check it out, most of those Republicans, they just go whatever John Alario, like, Mike Walsworth and Cortez and all those guys. They look, they're not representing people. They represent government. That's who they represent. They represent government. And our guys get down there and ladies get down there, and they represent government. They don't represent the people.
So Huval voted against.
Okay, Huval voted against. But Mills definitely voted for. I know Fred's a nice guy, and everybody likes old Fred. Fred's hard not to like, I got to tell you. But Fred doesn't always vote right. Fred votes like he wants. Fred can't be beat, so he knows that. So Fred's going to vote the way he wants to vote. And like I said, great guy. I know him. I met him. I've been around him. But as far as vote, they all voted for John Alario, and they all vote with John Alario. And that's a shame.
Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. All right. Billy Nungesser, just a few questions. Number one, Stephanie Grace and these people that keep writing about all this positive goody two-shoe stuff with Edwards. But today, this was July 30th, Brandon. I think it was 2 days ago. There's another story. Stephanie Gray, Louisiana Governor Edwards, has just as many allies as he does distractors. And another picture of him and Billy. Billy made a comment the other day in Jeremy Alford's deal that, some of these, you may get back to the old days where you run as a ticket, like the governor, lieutenant governor. I may be wrong on this, Brandon. This is going to be before your day. Didn't Edwin Edwards and someone like Bobby Freeman, he's not with us anymore, lieutenant governor, and it may have to go back further than that, but didn't they kind of run on a ticket as a lieutenant governor? The reason why I know Mr. Bobby Freeman was from Plaquemine, Louisiana, and he was a boxer at LSU. And at Plaquemine, actually, my dad was a boxer, and we were friends of the family. And so we knew Mr. Bobby well.
And so who are you talking about, Bobby Freeman and who, real quick?
Bobby Freeman and Edwin Edwards. Brandon, you're going to have to go back in the 70s. Man. 72, 74, or something like that, when Edwards first came in office. And I don't remember the exact date. But I want to say they ran as a ticket. And so anyway, Nungesser pointed out that you could see that back. Now, we've got all this relationship with him and the governor, and the press never lets us forget that Billy and Edwards are tight. Now, before the Billy Nungesser people trip on me, don't trip. I'm asking the question because it looks like that to me too. So, the reason I'm asking the question is, and I'm just asking you people as well, if Nungesser would really, and I don't know if he's thinking about it, but if he's really thinking about running as a ticket with Edwards, I really wish he would announce that really early. Because if he runs on a ticket with Bill Edwards, I think the Republican Party needs another Republican to run for lieutenant governor against Billy. Not cutting Billy. If he wants to run as a ticket with Edwards, I'm all for you. Go for it. But let another Republican. Don't announce remember, we'll have an October run with a November runoff, and then we'll have a new governor starting in January. But I don't want you to pop up the last month or two and run as a co-ticket. You got to be honest with us up front. Or are you going to run on a ticket with the governor? Because if you are, I would like to see the party, and I'm not in the party. They can do what they want. I'd like to see the party go out there and get somebody that's a real conservative to run against Nungesser. I ain't talked to Billy about this. I'm only going by what I read. He does come interview from here quite often. We will allow him to keep coming. I will ask the question next time because I think it needs to be answered. If Billy wants to run on a ticket with a Democrat, and Bill Edwards mainly, then he needs to let us know that now. Don't throw this on us at the end to help, because what you're going to be doing is trying to help Bill Edwards become governor, and we can't afford him. Nobody in this state can afford him. The oil and gas industry cannot afford him. Businesses cannot afford him. None of them. Families cannot afford him. The only people that can afford him is the people that get from government. So, Billy, if you're going to do that, we need to know, and we need to know up front. I'd like to know. A lot of people would like to know if you're going to be on a ticket with Edwards, then we want to know that now. I don't want to find out after everybody's qualified, and then we have no other Republican or conservative person. It could be just a conservative person running, and all of a sudden we get stuck. I'm not voting for a ticket, not that way anyway, because that means to me you compromising with the left. Bill Edwards is to the left, and he's way to the left. All right, Michael and Lafayette, Larry and Magnolia Crossing, be cool. I promise we get back. I would be glad to put y'all up and running. And, by the way, he also wants to turn the French Quarter into state park. I think that's... Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it. Hotline. One other thing. Go to the phone lines, I promise. Billy Nungesser, the French Quarter is a state park. Lieutenant Governor Nungesser wants it considered. Okay, I understand that. But let me just give you a quick example. If you take the French Quarter over and the state owns it, that means the state pays everything. We pay for all the security. We pay for everything that goes on in the French Quarter. And folks, Brandon, we talked about this earlier off the air. We have no money. We're broke. We can't pay for nothing. We're closing schools. We're shutting down daycare and nursing homes. We're closing hospitals and people. By the way, is Calicon called?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're shutting down, and then the next day we buying the French Quarter.
Yeah. We go from dead broke, air quotes,
to rich.
All of a sudden got to pay for everything.
Oh, no, man. Ain't that cool? Next year's teachers' pay raises, and we're going to buy the French Quarter. But remember, when you take over the French Quarter, you take over every expense. So now how much is John O'Leary going to get for the French Quarter? I mean, it's going to cost us $100 million, $300 million, $500 million. What's it going to cost us? And liberals don't care about it. So, Billy, be careful about saying we want the French Quarter. I don't think we want it. I really don't. Let the French Quarter take care of itself, and if it doesn't make it and it goes under, people can go somewhere else. I just can't believe. Take over the French Quarter. Folks, a great example, and I know we got to get to the phone lines. Great example is Poverty Point in Delhi, a beautiful place. Okay? It cost us, between that, the lake, the golf course, and the new hotel you and me built, that thing is about $60 million. It put us in the hole. It takes millions to run from the state government every single year. They made it Francis the Fee Thompson makes it a park. Makes it a park. Okay? And then we got to pay for it. That's pretty smart on Francis Thompson's point. Delhi wouldn't take that thing for nothing in the world. All right. Just got text. Okay. Billy Nungesser texted me and said, someone told me, I never said he was running on a ticket. Billy, I never said that. I never said he was running on a ticket. I said it was brought up. That's what people do to you.
Nice.
That's what people do to you. Nungesser fires off an email to me saying that's fake news. It is fake news. I said what you said in the Jeremy Alford, that you see tickets like that being formed. Everybody in the newspapers putting pictures of you with the governor, talking about how y'all tight. And then that came up. I didn't bring that up, Billy. I never said, but Brandon, that's what they do. That's what they do. Somebody said, I didn't say that. Brandon, did I? I said, this is what they're acting like is going to happen. I never said Billy was. And what did I say? Billy, if you're going to do this, then let people know.
Right.
If you're not going to do this, then it ain't a big deal. And I said, if you're going to do it, let people know early enough so they can put another Republican up. That was it.
So basically the text
I expect Nungesser to come on and talk about the same things. I like Billy. But Brandon, when I'm reading this every day, right. it kind of gets frustrating.
Right. So basically the text is him denying that, right?
Yeah, he just said, thanks. I just texted him back. I didn't say he was doing that. Sorry, people want to cause trouble. Hope to see you soon. No, but I never said he was doing that. But yet, just what people do. Moon said. Never said a word. I said if he was considering this and would do it, just let people know early. But is he doing that? I never said he was doing that. Wow. Not surprised. All right, let's go Michael in Lafayette. How you doing, Michael?
I'm fine, Moon. I just wanted to verify what you said because I lived during that Edwards time and all of that, and they definitely had tickets that they ran on together.
Yeah, and I think Bobby Freeman ran on a ticket basically with Edwards.
I'm pretty sure, probably. If you remember that better than I do as far as that goes. I also, for years and years and years, I voted as a Democrat because if you were not a Democrat, you almost didn't get to vote in any election.
Yeah.
And now it's the totally opposite way around. If you're not a Republican, you don't get to vote in most, a lot of elections.
Let me ask you a quick question. I'm starting to see maybe closed primaries are the way to go. Would you like most states? And I'm not saying we ought to act like every state. We don't act like them economically. I don't guess we ought to act like them with closed primaries. But most states, if we're going to do this, let's do everything like most states and do economic development and a real economic package for businesses and people. But anyway, would you like to see us go to a closed primary?
It can't be any worse than the way it is now.
Well, I'll give you an example.
I can see. I mean, it just, we're a one-party state, basically.
No, we
that is the state. They're such a state for government. It don't matter who they are. They're for government, pretty much. There's a few of them that's on our side, but not nearly enough.
No, what I think you have is, and I've said this many a times, you don't have Republican, Democrat, you got ins and outs. And ins and outs mean when I'm in, I'm going to do the same thing. I get to play with the money, and then when I'm out, I'm going to talk about how bad these people are playing with the money. Yeah. No, to give you an example, when Senator Cassidy became senator, he made a few votes. People got upset with it. I did too. And I wonder if there would be what would be the outcome if you had a Republican closed primary and a Democrat closed primary. And I'm not just talking about Cassidy, Nungesser, all of them. Landry, Kennedy, all of them. If you had a closed primary, what would happen in a closed primary? It would be an interesting thing to see what would happen. Would anything happen to Republicans that did the things like Democrats do? I just wonder if something would change.
Talking about money and playing with money and all of that, and John Kennedy said this, talking about the flood money from 2016, August of 2016. The federal government came through with a bunch of money, but John Bell Edwards put a committee in charge of all of that, a committee or a council or somebody, some group of people. Now, you don't know that, I just bet you 100 to 1 that those people were playing around with that money as far as, and it wasn't winding up in the people that needed the hands. I just heard like yesterday or the day before or somewhere that there is some money that's coming through and it will pay back the people that had to, they had to go ahead and spend their own money to get their houses renovated and everything
I read that.
And all of that,
Yeah, I read that. I read the same thing that there's a new deal going on.
Yeah,
where they're going to reimburse for 100%. Of course, Edwards would be there to give it away.
That's courtesy of that John Bell Edwards. I mean, shoot.
It is what it is. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, and I'll let you go. So I know you got somebody else waiting.
All right, thanks. Appreciate the call. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Let's go, Larry in Magnolia Crossing. How you doing, Larry?
Doing fine, Moon. That's McNeely Crossing.
McNeely Crossing. Okay.
And he can't blame me this time. I'll put the E in there.
Let me say it again. I don't like to make excuses, but it's to my left. It's to my left, and I don't go to the left real well.
It's named that because it was a railroad crossing there to service the McNeely plantation, which my mother-in-law was a McNeely.
Yeah.
But look, I still think you talk about them politicians today. You ought to put games people play in the bumper rotation and follow up. We could cure you with an attitude, but adjustment by Hank Jr.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with both of those. I'm familiar with both of those.
Well, put it in the rotation and send it a message to them boys in Baton Rouge.
All right, man. Appreciate the
Larry,
call. Larry, just for you.
One's for you, Larry.
Larry, you ought to love Brandon Como. Here's another one who wants you to get a pay raise. You make them all happy.
Oh, add Larry to the list.
By the way, folks, in hurricane season again. August 1st. And though we don't like to think about it, you just never know when the big one will affect the state of Louisiana. Sirius Technologies and Cummins have prepared to respond to your emergency power needs before the next storm strikes. Sirius and Cummins Power partners have stocked up. They're ready on inventory, so you won't have to wait on a back-ordered equipment. They even have affordable payment options. There's no better time than right now to protect your home and family from a lengthy power outage this hurricane season. Call Sirius today to see how they can help guard your home or business. 855-322-3222. 855-322-3222. Or go to SiriusUSA.com. SiriusUSA.com. These guys do a great job. I'm telling you, be happy you met with them. All right, let's go to, is that Christine? Mm-hmm. On the road, Christine, how you doing?
Hey, Moon, I'm doing great. I just wanted to comment on the state taking over the French Quarter. The same thing that happened to that has happened to Hodges Gardens.
And how's Hodges Garden doing?
It's been closed for almost a year now.
Let me tell you something. If the state takes over the French Quarter, that's what I predict will happen. They don't have the money.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have the security.
Short-term thing.
Absolutely. And then what they going to do? Where they going to get that money from? What do they do?
I guess they think they're going to make it from the French Quarter.
No, how about raise some taxes on the people? That's always worked. $6.3 billion in new taxes and hadn't fixed one thing. That's what bothers me. And then, you know what, though, Christine and Brandon, you heard me talk about it, and Brandon chimed in because we really talked about it before we went on the air. We went from being broke. We don't have any money. We broke. We're closing nursing homes. We're closing hospitals. We got pink slips flying out everywhere. We're getting ready to put old people and poor people back on the streets. And then we went to, hey, we're going to do teachers' pay raises next year. We're going to look at doing some roads. And, by the way, we're going to buy the French Quarter. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they got a little money in their pockets because they took it from us. Trump's tax cut, $352 million, deposited right into the great state of Louisiana, taken from the citizens of Louisiana. And they think all this is good. But I'm telling you, this will rupture our state. And $6.3 billion in new taxes since Bel Edwards been in office. And by the way, out of his own mouth, he said, well, we didn't get what we wanted. What did he want, 8 million? 10 billion? 8 billion? What did he want? I mean, think about that. We didn't get enough. What was he wanting? And I'll tell you something else. And I don't think he can be reelected. I really don't. But if that guy was reelected and doesn't have to worry about reelection, watch how many billions of dollars of taxes he's going to get. This constitutional.
There's a bunch of dumb people in Louisiana, so they'll vote for him.
Oh, I think he'll get beat. We're smarter than this. I know we are. And look, it was a fluke. They know it was deep down. They know he won. He won as a fluke. It was a fluke accident. He won. You can't tell that to the people in the newspaper business. They don't want to talk about that. They just keep, hey, won in a landslide. Well, let's see you win in a landslide again, Mr. Bell. It's unbelievable. Anyway, thank you, darling. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I remember that. I remember people talking about that place. Brandon, do you realize the state has a lot of state parks, and you realize they have a lot of state? I always talk about these lakes they want to build. Mm-hmm. They've taken over lakes that are destroyed, that are no good anymore. You know what they want to do? Build new ones. Mm-hmm. I'm not making this up. They had a whole thing in place, and I still think they do, to build a bunch more of these lakes like the one in Delhi that loses money every day. It loses money every day. The golf course loses money every single day. I got my people inside. I know what I'm talking about. Now, another pet peeve. We got everybody fussed about Jindal giving money to companies. And I hate a fake PR when I see one. And people can get mad at this if they want to. There was a headline, Royal Martin investing $8 million. Okay? Adding 14 jobs. And this got PR. It's got PR all over. Because this is what's happened. I saw one today, Brandon. They put out another one. The Louisiana Department of Economic Development. They're putting out anything that breathes. Okay? Here's one, Brandon. LaSalle Lumber Company announces job fair. Okay, they're putting out anything like they're creating all these jobs. Now, the Martin family has been a very good business family. I had dealt with one of them. I don't know which one that was with Bobby Jindal. He was on this committee to cut taxes and cut waste. And I had him on here a couple of times, and I asked him to keep coming back when it was over, but he never came back. And he never came back because the programs and stuff that they said they were going to cut, they never cut. They didn't even get close. But what I'm laughing at is we popped Bobby Jindal for giving away money. This was the state provided incentive package that include performance-based forgivable loan of $300,000 from the state's Economic Development Award Program. $350,000 forgivable loan. In other words, if they meet whatever criteria they set, that money goes with the business. Now, I'd rather the money go to a business than go to something else. My point being is, this is what the newspapers and this is what John Bell Edwards and Darden and them said we're not doing anymore, and they've been doing it. They keep doing it. And this is a successful company and successful business people. And this is all I'm going to say. This is not headline material. 14 jobs is not headline material. And it's funny, Brandon, I read one article, we're retaining 680 jobs, and with the 36 more indirect jobs, it's 50 new jobs. Well, that's what Bobby Jindal talk. That's what Jindal and them used to do. They're doing the same thing. The big reason I'm telling you this is not news except in the press, advocate staff, big Bill Edwards people, I guarantee you in Alexandria and the surrounding area, Grant Parish, whatever, Rapides Parish, I bet you they had 14 companies that hired one person yesterday and created 14 jobs. They never got an incentive from the state. And they never made the headlines. And that's when you know it's nothing but public relations, PR for the governor. Good PR for the company. I don't blame them. Brandon, if I walk up to you and say it's $50,000, Brandon, it's you don't have to pay it back, and all you have to do is this. And you think, I can do that. You'd take the $50,000 too. I would too. I'm not blaming the company. I'm saying this is just PR, and it's PR for the governor. I guarantee you there may be a company y'all know in the Alexandria Rapides Parish area that created 5 new jobs yesterday, or 10. But they've been there, and they never made a big deal, and they never got a penny from the state of Louisiana, and it wasn't PR, and the newspapers don't run and shove this up, that $8 million investment. There are people that invested $8 million yesterday in other companies, their own companies, and they never said a word. This is the kind of PR stuff that I've been telling you that's coming. This is a nothing story. Those people have been doing good. They've been very good corporate citizens for the area. They've been a great family to go and do the things. But once again, you come up to me and say, here's $50,000, and you don't have to pay it back. I need you to meet these criteria. I'm all ears, like Ross Perot used to say, and was. By the way, they did a poll, Brandon, Joe Biden and Donald Trump in a matchup, and, of course, Biden 44, Trump 37. I saw a poll had Hillary over 50. How'd that work out? Crazy Joe. I don't think Crazy Joe could beat Trump. I think Trump would smash him. Nobody wants Crazy Joe back, except Democrats. Crazy Joe to run? That would be funny, Brandon. That would be a hilarious campaign. Anyway, we got to go. We got to get out of here. See you tomorrow. God bless, folks. Tomorrow's already Friday Eve. It's hard to believe, Brandon. I've been back almost 2 weeks from my trip. Time flies when you're having fun. See you tomorrow.